Yo, what's up with y'all boys and girls, man? Hey, it's Jay Briggs here. Picks from the DawgHouse NFL edition. Keeping the show rolling, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna look different, of course, moving forward. Missing one of our co-hosts, unfortunately. Um, you know, this one hurts a little bit, but a lot of bit. But we're gonna keep it rolling. We're gonna keep it rolling. We got my man Sean Murphy joining us. How you doing today, Sean?
Hey Jay, good to talk to you. Yeah, it's wish I was here under kind of different circumstances. Not looking to fill any shoes or anything here. Just I'd like to pass my condolences along to, of course, the whole Pick Dawgz family and all of Mitch's family and friends. There's no words for such a kind of a sudden tragedy like that, and all we can do and all Mitch would want us to do is keep rolling here. So we'll look to keep it going here this week in the NFL.
He hit the nail right on the head, man. That's what Mitch would want, is us to keep this thing rolling. He told me that many a times. I always thought he was, messing around. I was like, man, we ain't worried about that. We got plenty of time. But life. That's all you can really say is life sometimes. But hey, NFL, man. NFL week. What week are we in now? What is this? 14?
14.
14? Moving right along, man. This season, it's been a lot of ups and downs for a few teams this season, Al. Um, we've been fading a lot of teams. We've been talking down on some teams. Some teams have just outright outplayed what we thought they would to start the season. Um, it's been a hell of a ride, and it's not over yet. And they even added a week. So it's a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about. How you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. It was like both of you guys, just a horrible Thanksgiving week. So, we'll look to, try to get back to normal this week, but it's going to be really hard.
Yes, it will, man. But fellas, let's keep it rolling, man. Let's do what we do. Let's do what we do, like he would want us to do. First game of the week, we had the Thursday night football. Got a division battle. It's a pretty good game. Really good game. Not pretty good game. Really good game. We got the Detroit Lions 11-1, laying 3 at home with the Green Bay Packers rolling in. Al, I think I faded Detroit in back-to-back weeks, and it really hasn't panned out well for me.
Well, I mean, if you had Chicago on Thanksgiving, it didn't not
Oh
pan
wait,
out.
wait, wait. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. I'm sorry. I did have
Okay.
Chicago last week because we sung Bear Down last week. Yes, I did. We did cash last week. I'm sorry. I misspoke. Unfortunately, a lot happened that day. So, but that's probably why I forgot. But they did cash that day. Sorry about that. But yes, they. So I did was able to fade the Lions last week in cash. Can we cash back-to-back weeks, or do they get back to normalcy? They're covering ways.
Well, I'm going to go back to an angle I used here with you a couple of weeks ago when they played Tennessee. Uh, I'm going to take Detroit over the total because they went under the total of 47 on Thanksgiving Day versus the Bears. And Detroit is now 21-5 over the total at home if they did not go over the total in their previous game. So I think this is, again, Detroit, every once in a while they erupt for a lot of points. They got 52 that day against Tennessee. I think they erupt here as well. And high scoring game, I'm taking the over 51.5.
Fair enough. Sean, how you see this game playing out?
Yes, I mean you hear it all the time from coaches, you hear it from players. It's winning in the NFL, just winning a game is difficult. So we've got Detroit coming in here, 10 straight wins. You just wonder how long a team like that can keep it going. Last week, I was looking the Bears' way. They could have easily lost that game, really, if we had any competency out of the Chicago clock management at the end of the game. That game could have gone another way. Um, the Packers come in here playing well as also, and I think they remember last year the way things went when they went into Detroit on Thanksgiving Day and kind of stunned the Lions in that case. They're not going to catch them napping here, but Detroit's got so many injuries right now on defense. I mean, I don't know how much just the average bettor realizes how many guys they're missing right now and how many key defenders they're missing. I think the Packers can put up some points in this game. And I think we can get this one at plus 3.5 right now with Green Bay. I'm gonna look that way in this game, and wouldn't be shocked by the upset here.
Yeah, I like Green Bay with you. And I think they have a legitimate chance to beat them outright as well. I think the Lions are a really good football team. But like you said, I think the injury bug is starting to kind of catch up to them. And, you know, Green Bay's a team that, for whatever reason, over the last couple seasons, they've gotten better as the season progresses. They haven't had the best starts to seasons, but as the season goes along, Jordan Love seems to settle in a little bit more. The offense seems to have a rhythm. I know everybody talks about this Lions offense, but I'm starting to really like what I'm seeing from this Packers offense as well. I'm usually not a big Packers guy, but I like how this team has kind of flown under the radar. They're going to be a sneaky team moving forward in the grand scheme of things in the NFC. Remember, this is a team that won a playoff game on the road last season. Of course, we know where that game was, unfortunately. But yeah, I think the Pack have a legitimate chance to go here and beat the Lions outright. And especially, divisional opponents are built to play each other. If there's a team that was going to do it, it's going to be the divisional opponent. I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers in the revenge spot. Plus the points, maybe a sprinkle on the money line. And I like the over as well with Big Al McMorty. I think we'll get scoring from both sides. Let's keep it rolling. That was Thursday night. Now we head over to Sunday. First game on the board on my board right now I see is the New York Football Giants as 5-point home dogs with the New Orleans Saints rolling in. I see the total right now currently around 40.5. Sean, you're up first here in this one, my man. How you see this game?
Yeah, so last week I was on the Rams against the Saints in that spot. My first thought here was to back the Saints minus the points, but I'm starting to come around a little bit on the Giants here as a home underdog. They've looked absolutely awful lately. You've got a lot of people talking about how this team has kind of quit on Brian Dable, and it's just, there's not a lot of life in this franchise at the moment. But I don't know. This might be a spot where we see the Giants come back home off that, kind of embarrassing. The game ended up closer against Dallas, but let's face it, that was pretty much out of hand in the second half until they got a late score, make things respectable. I do think the Giants show up in this game. We're getting looks like 5 points right now. I'm going to lean the Giants way in this one, grabbing the points.
For me, this game is bottom of the barrel. I'm not going to be betting this game come Sunday. I'm just letting everybody know that right now. I can still give you my thoughts on the game, though, and my thoughts are the Giants are terrible. Everybody knows I love fading them in as many chances I get. But I also say, and y'all have heard me say many a times on this show, I hate laying points with bad football teams, and the Saints are a bad football team. Forced to play it, I would take the points at home with the New York Football Giants with Sean. It's bottom of the barrel. I also think we could probably get some points in this football game. I don't trust either defense to really create many stops. We've seen the Saints offense explode a couple times this season. I'm not saying that's what happens here, but I think we do get enough scoring from both sides to get up and over the total. There are some playmakers on both offensive sides of the ball in this game. So I think the total is just a little too low at 40.5. I would go over, and I would lean towards the Giants. Al?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take the Giants primarily because they've lost their last 7 in a row, both straight up in ATS, and underdogs of less than 6 points. They're now 16-4 with 2 pushes ATS off 7 or more ATS losses in a row. So I'll take the 5.
There we go. We head to Pittsburgh, where the Steelers are laying 5.5 points on the Cleveland Browns. Total in this game right now, currently, I see 44.5. It's an interesting game, fellas. Of course, the Browns coming off the loss this past week at Denver. We saw Jameis in full effect. Mr. 30 for 30 himself. Love Jameis. 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions, 5,000 yards. Hell of a season down there in Tampa. Of course, we saw the Pittsburgh Steelers lose to the Cleveland Browns recently. What was that? Was that 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
2/3.
2 weeks
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago. Um, I think the Steelers get their revenge right now on that 6.5. I'm a little nervous. I'm just gonna be real. I would lean Pittsburgh, but I'm not totally in love with it. I'm surprised Pittsburgh got that win last week. I had Cincinnati in that game. I thought Cincinnati would pull it off. Cincinnati ain't got no defense. The only thing that I could say about Pittsburgh is the same thing you guys have heard me say on this show for many years. Mike Tomlin. Head coach Mike Tomlin, man. I love him, man. I love him. He's a beast. And he just proves it year after year. He's already solidified yet another winning season for the Steelers. This year he has a Hall of Fame head coach. The Browns, we were able to pick our spots with them in a few spots. I don't think this is one of them on the road. I think Pittsburgh gets the revenge and probably does it in dominant fashion. They're playing well right now. Give me the Steelers. I'll lay it. Al?
Yeah, I'm going to look instead of the total in this game. These two teams played exceptionally high-scoring games last week. The Steelers, their game totaled 82 points. They won 44-38. The Browns lost to Denver 41-32, so that game totaled 73. And over the last 45 years, games between teams that each played a high-scoring game the previous week that totaled more than 72 points, those games have gone under the total 75% of the time. These two teams, 2 weeks ago when they played, they combined for 43 points? Was it 24-19? I think was the score. The total here has been adjusted. That game went over the total, but now it's a little bit higher, but I still think this goes over the 44.
Sean?
I'm sorry. I think this stays under the 44.
Okay. Sean?
Yeah, I'm on the exact same play as Al here. So I've had the over the last 2 weeks in these Browns games against Pittsburgh and Denver. That game against Pittsburgh a couple of weeks ago, of course, the snowstorm kind of changed the course of the game a little bit. It looked like it was heading up. I think we had quite a bit late scoring in that game, actually, but total in that game closed at 37 and a half. So we're looking at a big adjustment here. I can only think Cleveland on the short week comes in here and looks to make this game as ugly as possible. And Jameis should help with that a little bit. I think that maybe they take a little bit off his plate, even though that's difficult to do the way he plays. I don't know if you can even do that. Um, and then you get Pittsburgh off such a wild game last week, 44-38. Like I was with you, Jay. I didn't see that coming, especially not that kind of high scoring affair with a team that's more built for the. We've become accustomed to seeing these totals in the high 30s in Steelers games. So I think this one's a little bit high. Division game, Browns on a short week, Steelers off that high scoring game. Both teams coming off consecutive over results. I'm kind of on the same page as Al with looking to go the opposite way of what we just saw. So we'll go with the under in this game.
There we go. One last thing I'll say about this game. I kind of like a defensive score in this game. Maybe look at one of those props. I definitely like a Jameis Winston interception, maybe a 2 interceptions from Jameis in this game. Y'all know I love my interception props. So just a couple of little props for y'all. I know y'all be asking me about those. Let's keep it rolling. We head over to Minnesota, where the Vikings are laying 5.5 points on the Atlanta Falcons. Al, I took the Cardinals money line last week. I didn't grab the points. That happens sometimes. I love me a good money line, dog. They got me.
Yeah, we talked about that, I think, over the phone, right? Or something.
Yeah,
I remember
we did.
talking to you. They just, I'm a point spread guy. I always take the points. But, I think when we were talking, right, I mentioned, last year in the NBA playoffs, you were making a mint taking the Dallas Mavericks on the money line. So sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. I think you're still ahead of the game. I'm gonna take Atlanta plus the points. This is a late season game, final 5 weeks of the NFL season, and when you get a cold team in the final 5 weeks of the NFL season, so a team off 3 SUAS losses, those teams have actually cashed 60.2% of the time versus opponents off 3 straight wins. It's counterintuitive. A lot of people think they want to take a team that's playing hot at the end of the year and go against a team playing cold. Nothing could be further from the truth. I'm going to take Atlanta.
Sean?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll end up playing this one, but I like Atlanta with the points as well. So I had Arizona last week plus the points. That was a pretty straightforward cover the whole way through. just par for the course with the way the Vikings kind of play. A lot of tight games. Nothing comes easy for them. And it's a similar story to the Detroit situation. You've got a team coming off 5 straight wins here. It's not easy to string together these type of winning streaks in the NFL. So if you're going to give me more than a field goal here with the underdog side, and plus we get the benefit of the Falcons, looking to kind of refocus after 3 straight losses. They're still tied for the lead in the NFC South. So this is a team with a lot to play for. Um, what else would we expect at another Minnesota game to go right down to the wire in the in Minnesota on Sunday afternoon to all grab the points?
Y'all know I'm hard headed, man. I didn't learn my lesson last week. I'm doing it again. I'm fading the Vikings outright on the money line. I'm taking Atlanta straight up. Let's do it. I think they have a path here. Look, if this was Atlanta playing a cold weather team outside, I would be off. But because we're in a dome, we're good. We're good. And the biggest thing we're forgetting in this game is the Kirk Cousins revenge spot. Ooh. I like me a Kirk Cousins revenge spot, man. Right back to his old stomping ground where he just was. He finna go in there and get a dub and keep his season alive, keep his career probably alive. Not career, but season alive. Just because a lot of Falcons fans, I know a good handful of them calling for Michael Penix, especially after how terrible Cousins looked last week. So no spot really better for Kirk Cousins to go in, have a good game, and then probably hit his saying after the game. You like that? You like that? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. You know how these things go. Storybook. He probably gonna have his chains on. Come on, man. I like Atlanta outright money line in this one. The Vikings are a good team. I just think they're starting to become a little overrated, a little overvalued. We'll see. We'll see. Let's keep it rolling, fellas. We head over to Tampa, where the Bucks are 6.5 point home favorites over the Las Vegas Raiders. This total sitting around 46.5. Sean, how you feeling here?
Yeah, it's the Pirate Bowl. It's Everyone's been waiting for this game. Super Bowl. I don't remember the Super Bowl number. It's a rematch of a previous Super Bowl. Um, yeah, I was on the Raiders last week with a pretty big play in Kansas City plus the points, and this is a team 2-10, so they're obviously a miserable season, but they haven't quit on the season. I still feel like they're playing hard. Um, Tampa had that big come from behind, or sorry, not come from, well, somewhat come from behind win there in Carolina in overtime last week. Um, I don't like laying points with the Bucks. They're just not a team that I'm going to look to lay a touchdown with. So if I had to play this one, I'm looking at Raiders plus the points. Probably another fairly ugly game. I don't mind the under in this game either.
Yeah, not a game I'm rushing to bet either, Sean. I would lean Raiders if I was playing it too. I kind of feel those same sentiments about the Bucks. Like laying points is, I will do it if the situation is perfect. If it ain't perfect, then I'm really not really interested. As dogs against good teams, oh yeah, them the spots I really like betting a team like Tampa. Um, 4 point win is probably what we're looking at here in this game. If I had to call this one, let's go 31-28, like something like that. That's kind of high scoring, huh? Let me back it up. Maybe 28, I don't know. 28-24, 24-20, something like that is probably in the making here. Um, Bucks are the better football team, still battling for the division in that ugly NFC South. They could take first if Minnesota keeps it rolling and beats up on Atlanta. So Tampa has a lot to play for here. I'm just not really interested in laying the points with them. I would lean Raiders. What I do like though, I like Mike Evans over his receiving numbers. He's still trying to get that 1,000. He's still trying to get it. He can get it. He got to go like 100 yards a game, though, to close out the season. Or one monster game of like 200. And against a bad team like the Raiders, this is probably one of them games where they run up them numbers. So I like a lot of Mike Evans props in this game today. Or not today, but this weekend. Al?
Yeah, I like the under here. I mean, you just take a look at what these two teams have done throughout the season. Both teams have been over teams. Both have gone over the total in 8 of their last 12 games. I'm just going to run the other way and look for a lower scoring game here. The Raiders are now 40-28 under the total in their last 68 road games. Tampa has gone under at home 94-59 versus non-division foes. So I'm going to take this under the 46.
We head over to Philadelphia, where the Eagles are 12.5-point home favorites over the Carolina Panthers. Total 45.5 in this one. I've done a 180. I started the season one of the biggest Philadelphia haters, and now they're my favorite to come out the NFC. Damn, it's crazy how it happens. With that said, though, I'm fading them this week. I'm taking the Carolina Panthers plus the points. Philadelphia wins it. Probably wins by 10. Panthers, who are playing improved football, better football. Bryce Young finally looking like an NFL quarterback. I think do enough to keep this game competitive. So I've liked what I've seen from Carolina now in back-to-back weeks. Really 4 straight weeks. Beat New Orleans, beat the Giants, competed with the Chiefs, went to overtime with Tampa. Really should have won that game, but they didn't because they're still the Panthers. There's really nothing I can say about Philadelphia outside of this is probably just the letdown spot after such a huge win last week. Is all I could say really negative about them. Their defense looks good. Offense starting to look much better than I was giving them credit for. They are slightly banged up this week. Keep an eye out on that. But Eagles win. I would lean towards the Panthers, though, with the points in my back pocket. Now,
Yeah, I mean, it's true they've covered the spread in the Panthers have covered the spread in their 2 previous games, but they're still giving up a staggering 30.5 points per game on the season. And you get a double-digit road dog, off back-to-back ATS wins that have shit defenses that allow 24.75 points or more. Those teams have gone 11-29 ATS. I just don't want any part of Carolina with this kind of defense. I'm going to lay the points.
yeah, it's still the Panthers. Sean?
Yeah, this one's tough for me because you get both teams coming off 4 straight point spread wins here. Again, Eagles 8 straight wins straight up. So I mean, at some point, I don't see them running the table the rest of the way. But this isn't the spot that they're going to lose the game. I can't see a lot of bettors too interested in grabbing the points
Or
here at the
is it?
Panthers.
I
Yeah,
mean,
well, stranger things have happened in
Al,
the NFL, but
what's the stat of them double digit dogs outright? I forgot. What is it this season?
Uh,
Are they still
the,
profitable?
the double-digit dogs were the part of the underdogs that weren't doing well.
Oh,
So earlier in the season, the underdogs of +6 or more were doing really well, but it was like +6 to +9.
yeah, that's right.
okay, okay. I
Yeah,
got
it's tough because the Eagles, everyone kind of jumped off the Eagles at the start of the year. I was actually at that game against the Falcons, the Monday nighter early in the season, and I mean the crowd was pretty surly there. I'm not an Eagles fan, but the Eagles faithful were pretty quick to be down on their team. But I mean, this team, just the way they dominated that game against Baltimore last week, I'm not really interested in getting in their way here.
you.
Typically, it would be a spot where I would look to fade them off so many wins in a row, 4 straight ATS victories. But Carolina's in a similar boat. It's probably a stay away game for me. If I absolutely had to play it, I'd probably lay the points.
There you go. There you go. Shout out to the Eagles, man. Shout out to the Eagles. I'm
I,
still
I
still a
one,
hater.
one, one of my proudest moments was earlier this year. We talked with you and Mitch. I tried to make the point that the Eagles were much better than people were giving them credit for, and it turned out I may have been right.
You may have been right. I think you hit the nail right on the head. That was the week after I kind of was like, yeah, Al might have been on to something, and I kind of changed my tune too. So
Yeah.
yes, you did. You hit the nail right on the head on that one. Let's keep it pushing. We head over to Tennessee, where the Titans are 3.5-point home favorites over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mac Jones back under center. I'm assuming this week. They got Lawrence questionable, but we'll see. We'll see. Um, Al, you're up first here.
Yeah, over the years, one of the tropes I always hear, just the random gambler on the street say, late in the year, oh, these two teams suck. it's going to be a high-scoring game. They just somehow equate teams being bad with playing no defense with it being a high-scoring game. And you'll hear that a lot, like at sports books or whatever. Oh, I'm taking this game over the total because these two teams are, bad teams. It'll just be high-scoring. I never have understood where people get that kind of stuff from, but actually the exact opposite kind of happens. Late in the season, when you get matchups of bad teams, they tend to go under the total. If the two teams have win percentages of 400 or less, and the over-under line was 44 or less, those games are 198 and 148 under the total. So yeah, this is a matchup between two teams. They're both bad. They're going nowhere. I'm going to take the under.
Two bad quarterbacks. Sean, I get it. I see the path.
Yeah, it still seems like the Titans every week. People are still talking up
They love
that
them
Titans
Titans.
defense,
They
the
love them Titans.
defense, about how good that defense is. But I mean, you look at this team going back to October 20th, they've given up 34, 52, 17, 27, 23, 27, 42. Like the defense hasn't been good. My my first thought was actually to look at to consider the over in this game with the Jags coming off. Or sorry, the Jags come off an under result there last week. Titans off back-to-back over results. I don't know what to make of this game, to be honest. I went against my own rule last week and faded Jacksonville as a home underdog, and I paid the price in that one by the hook when Houston just stopped playing in the last 8 minutes of the game, up 23-6. I could see that one coming from. I could see it coming from a mile away. They missed the first 2-point conversion. They hit the second one. Anyway, that's my own fault for fading the Jags as a home dog. This just feels like another field goal game to me. But books aren't doing us any favors here with the Jags. What are we getting? +4, I believe. It's a fair point spread. This is a clear stay away game for me. If I had to, I would once again grab the points, just because I think it comes down to an ugly field goal game.
For me, this is what I love in this game. I love both quarterbacks to throw INT. For sure. I'm got a lot of money on both quarterbacks to throw interceptions in both of these games, especially if it's Mac Jones. Now, if Trevor Lawrence walks out on this field, I'm probably going to bet Jacksonville money line. If it's Mac Jones, I'm just going to leave the game alone in its entirety. I would lean Jags plus the points in that situation, because laying points with the Titans, you're just asking for it, especially laying the hook. You're asking for it. The Titans are a bad football team. I don't know how many times I got to see Will Levis walk on that field and just completely give a game away. So, yeah. I love both quarterbacks to throw interception in this one. I also like the defenses to probably both have a defensive score. I think this is going to be one of those games. And I also like the under because I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of points scored. It might be both teams get a defensive score. That's it. Maybe special teams, some of that nature. So I don't think either offense does much of anything. Under is my official play here in this one. If Trevor Lawrence plays, maybe a small lean on Jacksonville money line. Let's keep it rolling. We head to Miami. We're Big Al's favorite team this season. The Jets are taking on the Miami Dolphins. Miami lands 6, total 44.5. I like giving you a hard time about them Jets. I got to.
Yeah, I wish Mitch was here to give me a hard time. He's been right on the money the entire season, so I really wish he would have been here today.
Yep.
Mainly because I'm taking Miami, so I would have liked to have seen his face. His jaw would have dropped. I mean, I'll probably get it where I deserve it, because I've been on the Jets so much this season, and now I'm going to switch gears and take Miami, so we kind of know what might happen. But I'm just done with this team. They've been favored in each of their last 3 games. They've lost those 3 games straight up. And in the last 5 games of a season, teams off 3 straight upset losses have actually been horrible against the spread. I don't mind taking teams off 3 straight run-of-the-mill regular losses where you're expected to lose. But if you're losing when you're expected to win, that's a different story. And late in the season, teams off 3 straight upset losses have gone 21-57 ATS. If they weren't getting more than 6 points, I'm going to take the Dolphins. And I wish Mitch was here to. I don't know what he would have said. He hated the Dolphins too.
Yeah, he been trashing the Dolphins and Mike McDaniel a lot this season too.
Yeah, I still think he probably would have taken the
Man,
Dolphins.
this damn. I wish we would have got his opinion on this one. Sean, how you feeling here?
Yeah, I mean, one thing we know about the Dolphins is, and I think we got the result we wanted last week because they got blown out in that game in Green Bay. So everyone's down on the Dolphins, but they beat up on the bad teams at home. They always do. Just look at their recent home games. They had beat New England 34-15, beat Las Vegas 34-19. Al said it, the Jets are just abysmal here. Last week was a pretty good spot for them at home against Seattle. Coming off the bye week, that was the spot where they should have showed up. Got off to an all right start, and then just collapsed. I had the over in that game. One thing I will say, I do think the New York offense has shown a bit of life here lately. Devontae Adams had a couple, back-to-back good games, not great games, but good games. I think they can contribute to the scoring a little bit here. I don't mind the over. But I got to lay the points. I think next week might be a better spot for the Jets. Stay on the road, stay in Florida, and face Jacksonville. If we get a Jags upset win or something here on Sunday, I think I'd probably look at the Jets next week. But we'll talk about that next week.
Fair enough. Fair enough. For me in this one, I'm with you guys. I'm on the Dolphins. Just Mike McDaniel against winning teams. Look at his winning percentage. Terrible. Mike McDaniel against bad teams. Look at his win percentage. Amazing. It's really not a hard team to figure out. The Jets, they're a bad football team. They're going nowhere. Me and Mitch, one thing that we could always agree on every week is what we were going to fade the Jets together. So I'm going to continue to fade the Jets. For the Dolphins, looking at their schedule, they have one more winning team on their schedule. That's the Texans next week. Everybody else has a losing record. The Niners, the Browns, and they got the Jets again. So I got them right now probably going 9-8. Is that in? We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. They got a lot to play for. Let's keep it rolling. We had Arizona. With them Cardinals, man. 2.5-point home favorites over the Seattle Seahawks. Sean, I told you what happened last week, man. I got bit. I should have just grabbed the points. I got greedy. I took them outright money line. I love them Cardinals, though. I think I bet the Cardinals every game this year. How you feeling about this game?
They've been a pretty good bet. I mean, like I said, I had them last week. This is kind of the quick revenge spot. 2 weeks, just a week removed from that 16-6 loss in Seattle. So I think the Cardinals are going to be a really popular play this week. I have a funny feeling about this game. I don't know why, but I get the sense this is going to be one of those games where it's Cardinals win, Seahawks cover, and it's a really short point spread. I don't know why I even think that, but just feels like an odd game to me. I'm probably not actually going to be on it either way. Um, if I had to play it, I think I'd actually go with Cardinals money line in this spot and just call for them to get their revenge on the Seahawks. But I'm just not. I like grabbing points with the Cardinals. I don't really love laying points with Arizona. So that's about as wishy-washy of an opinion as I could possibly give for this game.
Nah, I mean I get it. I get it. Looking at the line, it's 2.5 Cardinals, but then that money line -145. So they kind of know what they doing a little bit. Um, I'm on the Cardinals though. I'm continuing the trend. Y'all know me. I'm betting them probably every game for the rest of the season. Who they got? The Patriots, the Panthers, the Rams, and then the Niners. Yep. Pencil J in for the Cardinals for the rest of the year. It's my team. This is a J style team though, man. Coming off 2 L's though. So back-to-back L's. Hey, it's a bounce-back spot at home that also happens to be a revenge game. Y'all know me in the NBA. That's one of my favorite spots in the league. I'm going to roll with it here in the NFL as well. Seattle, still don't trust this team. They've played better here recently. I'll give them credit. But there's still a lot of football to be played in this division, man. There's still a lot of football to be played. This division has been up in the air all season long, and I think it's going to be that way to the very end, to the last week. So they're going to beat up on each other. Cardinals get their revenge. Right now, I would say I would lay the 2.5, but I wouldn't be shocked come Sunday if I'm on that money line, like Sean said. Happens that way sometimes. It be that way sometimes. I know Al probably gonna be mad at me and saying, "Just lay the points, Jay." But it's okay.
You know what's funny is what I was going to say is actually I thought I liked Sean's instincts to do money line.
Okay.
But I was then going to follow up and say, regardless, I'm just a point spread guy, so I will lay the points. But I actually like the more you think about it, it probably makes some sense here. But I mean, I just lay the points. And I'm going to lay the points with Arizona here. You know, coming off back-to-back losses, Arizona is 60-32 ATS at home, off 2 losses, including 36-11 ATS versus an opponent that is off a point spread win. So, Arizona.
It's always Sean. One thing you'll notice, it's kind of funny. Sometimes I'll be talking, and then Al just comes on the back door with the stat. It's kind of crazy. Like I said, you know, double revenge spot coming home, and then he comes through with the stat. Like, man, it be that way sometimes, man.
Or sometimes you'll just ask me, and I'll just look it up as we're doing the show.
Yeah, you know? Sometimes you just look it up for me. I love this show. Let's keep it rolling. We head over to Los Angeles. This time we got the Rams getting 5 with the red-hot Buffalo Bills rolling in. MVP favorite Josh Allen rolling in. Sean, I believe you're up here. Or no, I'm up here. Yeah, I think I'm up here. Tough game. This is a tough game. The Bills are so hot, it's almost time to fade them. But it's like, you got to have a strong heart to fade them Bills right now because Josh Allen is doing it all. How the hell you have a rushing touchdown, a passing touchdown, a receiving touchdown? How do you throw the ball to the receiver in the snow, run over there, he throw it back to you, and then you run, dive, and score a touchdown, bro? Like, nah, he's cheating right now. He's cheating. Drug test him, please. It's not a guy I really want to be fading. Breaking the game down, when I break it down, I want to be on the Rams. I feel like the Rams is the right play. The Rams is the right spot, home dog. A lot of people not really feeling all that great about the Rams. Solid win for them last week. But the Bills are just so scorching hot right now. Josh Allen's just playing on such another level right now. He had a hell of a month of November, man. He had a hell of a month. He got engaged to Haley Steinfeld, bruh. It's a guy on cloud 9 right now, and I don't want to fade him. So it's really just a stay away for me. Breaking it down, if I had to play it, it would be Rams, but I'm going to be real. I'm not going to play it. Al?
Yeah, I mean, this game is one of the more interesting games to watch, but for me, it's bottom of the barrel when it comes to actually giving a pick on it. I actually hate this game. I really don't know which way to go, so I'm going to, one of the things that over the last several years, Buffalo's been really good going over the total when they're installed as a road favorite of 4 or more points. So with nothing strong either way, I'm going to just, with the gun to my head, I'll just take it over the 44.5.
From a side perspective, what were your thoughts, kind of?
Rams would be my thoughts from a side perspective. I can speak. Like Scott Spreitzer and I, we're partners in the what do you call it, the Westgate and the Circuit contest. And so I use the Rams, in that, but it's, not top shelf by any means.
Fair. Sean, how you feeling?
Yeah, I think the Rams plus the points is going to be a really popular contest play, popular sharp play um, across the board here this week. I think people are going to be looking for that letdown from the Bills off that Sunday night win, and again another team that's won so many games in a row. People are just kind of waiting for the wheels to fall off one week here for a spot play against them. I don't know. I'm kind of with you, Jay, in thinking that the Bills are just playing so well right now. I think this might actually be a spot where I'd lay more points with the Bills. Maybe look at an alternate point spread of maybe
That's fair.
-9.5 or something like that.
Fair. I can be talked on to
I
that.
think this could be a yeah. I think this could be a double-digit Bills win. There's a chance we see them suffer that letdown finally, and this is a tight game. Maybe the Rams win, but I was on the Rams last week against the Saints, and I just wasn't overly impressed by that win. That seemed more like just New Orleans not being very good. The Rams got their win. They've been up and down. They've been alternating wins and losses now for basically the last month. Um, I just think the Bills are the better team, and I think it's not unlike that spot we saw when they went to Seattle last month. I was on Seattle in that game plus the points, and it just what the Bills just dominated the game. Um, that would be my thought on this one. It's high on my list to bet, but I think if I had to do it, that's where I'd be going.
Fair enough. Let's keep it rolling. We head to San Francisco, where the Niners are laying 4 points currently on the Chicago Bears. Bear down, Chicago Bears. Al, how you feel?
I'm feeling that for the second year in a row, I picked probably the worst team possible for my Super Bowl futures. Two years ago was the San Diego Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers. That was just a nightmare right from the get go. 1 year too early, as Mitch would say. Then this year, my Super Bowl pick was San Francisco. So, you think you have a decent, safe pick on the 49ers, and all they've done has been the most disappointing team in football. I would say they're even more disappointing than the New York Jets. San Francisco was the odds-on favorite to come out of the NFC at the start of the year. Not even going to make the playoffs. So, yikes. This is a tough game. I'm just going to go against San Francisco. They're clearly playing out the string at this point. They've been blown out in 3 straight games. So, as you say, it's not really my rule because I don't want to lay points with bad teams when they're laying 7 or more, and this line isn't 7. But I'll kind of modify it and do the J rule and just say I'm not laying points with a bad 49ers team, and I'll take Chicago.
Fair enough. Sean, what you like here?
Yeah, this is the game. Right away, I had no real opinion on it. Looking a little closer, I think the Niners will be happy to be back home. Maybe they get their offense going a little bit because the last 3 weeks, they've scored 37 points during their 3-game losing streak. They're coming off an under last week. You get Chicago coming off that under against Detroit, a game that probably, if you had the over in that one, you would have been pretty disappointed based on how that one ended. But so if I had to play this one, I'm gonna look at taking the over in this game. I think we're getting it around 44 right now. Don't love the play, but I just think it's a bounce back spot for the Niners offense. And I think the Bears, we've seen enough, kind of evolution of their offense with Caleb Williams that we can be confident that they can keep pace here. And we've got the short point spread, so it should be a competitive game. I'll go with the over.
Al, does this fit our coach firing angle, or is it too late in the season?
It's too late in the season. So, but what you would do is, it's week 12 is the dividing point. So you would want to take those teams up until week 12 and fade them. So you actually want to fade Chicago at this point because they're kind of like a dead team walking. That was part of my calculation when I was trying to decide, I didn't want any part of either of these two teams. It's just
Right.
the lesser of two evils, I think, is to take, at least maybe there's some hope that Chicago, wants to be inspired by the new coach. I don't see anything that's going to inspire San Francisco at this point.
Fair. Had to ask. This is a tough game for me, honestly. I'm gonna lean towards Chicago, plus the points in this one. The Niners, I usually don't like laying points with the Niners anyway. Like even when they're playing well, they're just not a late point style team.
Yep.
So when they're playing bad, I definitely don't want to do it. And Chicago, early in the season, my biggest gripe with Chicago was I thought they were overrated, overvalued. Everybody was telling me the Bears are going to the playoffs, and I was like, pump the brakes. Y'all not that good. Y'all beating bad teams. Now that they're back to reality and properly rated, I feel like I can rock with them. I feel like they're properly priced. So I'm going to roll with the Bears here in this one. Wouldn't be shocked if the Niners won the game and kind of kept some fake hope alive for the remainder of the season, but I definitely don't want to be laying the points. So it's Chicago for me here, plus the points. Keep it rolling, fellas. We head to Sunday Night Football. We got a good one. Ladies and gentlemen. It's the Kansas City Chiefs laying 3.5 points on the Los Angeles Chargers. Take the Chargers. No, that's what Mitch would say. Mitch told us he had the Chargers going to the Super Bowl. I still don't see it.
I don't see it either, but he was right in spirit.
He was right in spirit. They are I will say they're better than I gave them credit for and have given them credit for. And there is a path where they can make some noise. So they're not out of it by any stretch of imagination. So,
Yeah.
he was early to the party on them. He was one of the first people I really heard start talking about them Chargers. So, interesting game here. Chiefs 3.5-point home favorites late December, Arrowhead, night game. It's a tough one, Sean. Got a West Coast team out in that cold.
Yeah, those Chiefs. I mean, 5-1 straight up, 0-6 against the spread the last 6 games. So it's just, are they going to keep burning tickets here? At first glance, the line looks a little short, but division game here, primetime game. I'd be inclined to grab the points, but that would just be a light lean. I do think we see some points in this game. So this total opened at 44.5, I believe, and it's down to 42.5. Um, Chiefs tend to bounce back after they score less than 20 points. We've seen them do it on a couple other occasions this year, get up into the 20s in their next game. I think they do so again here, but I think the Chargers can be along for the ride as well. Last Sunday, it seemed like that game just turned into a slugfest there in Atlanta. Both offenses looked pretty poor. I think we see a better effort from the Chargers offense here in their second week without J.K. Dobbins, and I expect them to throw the ball a little more than we're accustomed to seeing. Just the way this game's going to play out, I expect them to be playing from behind much of the way. So I think that total is a little low. First meeting this year only totaled 27 points. So I can understand the logic behind another low scoring game here, but I'm gonna go over that total of 42.5.
Fair. You already know the words that's going to come out of my mouth. I'm taking the Chiefs. So, Sean, I've taken probably the Cardinals and the Chiefs every game this year.
That hasn't gone well for the last 6 weeks.
Man, the thing is, luckily, I've taken them here on the show. Premium wise, I think I get to Sunday and I kind of leave them alone. But on the show, man, it'd be hard for me not to take the Chiefs. This week, I'm telling y'all this right now. Freemium. I'm going to have the Chiefs as a premium this week. I'm just telling y'all that right now. I like the Chiefs a lot this week. I'm the same guy I told y'all the Chargers were going to lose 4 in a row, bro. McPherson happened. They should have lost to the Bengals. They escaped that game. Then they lost to the Ravens. Solid win last week against the Falcons. That was also one of my losses last week. I had the Falcons. I thought it was a good spot for Atlanta at home. But the Chargers, they prevailed in that game. But they were favored in that game. I guess it's not off an upset win, but off that win, I don't know if they just ready to go in here and beat the Chiefs you know what I mean? I think this is the week the Chiefs kind of ease everybody's mind, ease everybody. Like, we're still the defending champs who've only lost one game. Like, are y'all crazy? That's kind of my thoughts. I think this is that week. It's hard for that team who's only lost one game to get up to play the damn Panthers, to get up and play the Raiders. But Sunday Night Football, divisional opponent coming in, they up for this one. I promise they up for this one. And I think they get it done. We'll see. We'll see. Give me the Chiefs, though. Sunday Night Football laying the points. Al?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about teams that have only lost one game, whether or not they have a problem getting up or not getting up. The reality is they just suck no matter who they play late in the year. When you got a team that has a 900 or better win percentage, from game 12 forward, I think the record is something like 57 and 92 ATS. Let me just look it up here real quick.
That's crazy.
Bear with me. Yeah, 57, 92, and 2 ATS. So,
okay.
We saw that back in the day. If you guys remember the New England Patriots when they were going 17-0, remember how they just kept not covering at the end of that season? What was that, 2008? Was that the year? What year did they go 17-0?
I wasn't betting in.
do you remember the year, Sean?
Yeah, that was. I don't feel like it was 08, was it?
Was that 08 or was it?
It was
08. I think it was 08.
07.
07. Okay. Yeah. So now I'm looking. So at game 12 forward, they lost every game. They lost every game to end the season. They didn't cover against Miami, didn't cover against the Giants, didn't cover against Jacksonville, didn't cover against the Chargers, and then in the Super Bowl didn't cover against the Giants going into the Super Bowl. They were on a 5-game ATS. So they failed to cover the spread their last 6 games of the year. When you get teams with good records, regardless of whether or not you think they've got incentive, and obviously New England wanted to be undefeated, the tariff is just too high. The odds makers, the number is so big when you've got 1 loss or 0 losses on the year late in the season, you just suck. So, I'm just going back to February 7, 2016. So this system lately, 1-6, 2-12, 3-14, 5 and they're 5 and even the last 25. Those teams are 5-20 ATS the last 25. So it's not just something that worked in 1980 or 90 or 2000. I mean, even the most recent trend, 5-20 ATS. I'm taking the Chargers.
Take the Chargers. Last and final game, fellas. Monday Night Football. We in my hometown. We're my hometown team. Going up against my second favorite team. If y'all know me, y'all know I love these two teams, man. The Bengals are near and dear to my heart. And it's on Monday night. Al, I probably got to go to this one. I don't really go to NFL games because watching the NFL on Sunday is much better at home, especially from the gambling perspective. I got to watch them all. And of course, you go to the game, you're going to miss all the other ones. But standalone Monday night game, my two teams, in my city, I might got to go for this one. They might get me. Let's break it down. The Cowboys, man, they've been beaten up at home pretty much all season long. Finally, we're able to avenge that demon and beat the Giants at home. We always beat the Giants, though. We always beat the Giants. That's one thing. If you ever need an NFL play, take the Cowboys to beat the Giants. It's about a 90% play. I don't know about this line. Are the Bengals slightly the better team? Yes, I will agree to that. But 5? I don't know about 5. Five seem almost disrespectful, especially with how bad this Cincinnati defense is, man. And believe it or not, my Cowboys, we're not done, man. We're not done. It ain't over. The fat lady, she might be humming, but she ain't sang yet. There's still some false hope here. And when you kind of look at the back end of the schedule, it ain't bad. They could make some noise. Cincy, Carolina, Tampa. I would say the only one that's just a written in L is probably Philly. But is that written in? We always split with them. And then Washington again, it ain't. I don't know. We've seen Cooper Rush go on a run before. This ain't nothing crazy. It starts here. I want the points in my back pocket with my favorite team. I wouldn't be shocked if the Bengals won the game. I wouldn't be shocked if we got a whole bunch of points in this one because both defenses have given it up this season in certain spots. But I like the over, and I want the points in my back pocket with Dallas. I think they go, and I think, honestly, they have a legitimate chance to win this game outright, especially with how bad Cincinnati's been situationally late in football games and with how bad their defense has been in a lot of the games this season. And if you look at Joe Burrow's numbers, you could argue Joe Burrow's the MVP this season. You could argue Joe Burrow's the MVP. But he's not really in the running because his team's so bad, and it's because his defense is so bad. But touchdowns, he's 30 touchdowns, 5 interceptions with 3,300 yards. Oh my God, he balling. Shout out Joe. Shout out Joe Shiesty. Al?
I think this is one of those games where if you like Cincy, just get down now because, it's under the 6. I like Cincy. So yeah, it's 5's a dead number anyway. So, but yeah, the Bengals, they put up 38 points last week in defeat, and that's a buy signal for me. When teams that score more than 36 points in a straight up loss, they tend to do well the next week, going 43-23 ATS, including 5-0 ATS on Monday Night Football games. I'm not afraid of this number. I'm going to lay it with Cincy.
Fair enough. Sean?
Yeah, my first thought was take the Cowboys plus the points, but now that I look at this a little more, I think I'm starting to like the under a little bit in this game. Actually, I think everyone's going to be looking to bet this Monday night over. You've got the Bengals coming off 5 straight over results. You get the Cowboys coming off 3 straight overs. How could this game possibly go under? Why we end up seeing a 27-21 game or something like that, and it sneaks under the total. I could talk myself into that play here. Um, but again, my initial thought was grab the points with the Cowboys. They had that embarrassing Monday night loss a few weeks ago against Houston. Um, Pressure's been off the last couple of weeks, so not surprisingly, we've seen them kind of bounce back. It almost seems like a Cowboys thing to do to get the win here this week, give all that false hope, and then next week go into Carolina and get upset. That almost just feels like how this NFL script is going to play out. Um, so yeah, I think I'll stay away from the side, but we'll see where this number settles out on the total. But I can definitely talk myself into a contrarian underplay in this one.
Fair enough. Well, fellas, that concludes this episode of NFL Picks from the DawgHouse. Picks from the DawgHouse NFL edition. I don't know why I do that sometimes. But yeah. Today's Wednesday, we're recording this, so in case the lines move or anything like that, that's why. So be on the lookout for those things. Al, I know it's early in the week, but what's an outlook on what you will be looking like this weekend for this NFL action?
Not much, to be honest with you. I'm going to have 2 plays on Sunday, and I'm going to have. I just gave one of them away here for free. I'm going to have 2 plays on the Monday Night Football game, so it's going to be a really light week for me. I'm, as you know, Jay. I mean, I'm someone I'll fire on a lot of plays when I like it, but if I don't like it, I'm not going to play it at all. And I think this is one of the ugliest, most uninteresting cards from a handicapping perspective this late in the year. A lot of times early in the year, you won't have a lot of plays just because you don't have any data yet. But at this time of the season, you generally have a lot of plays. I mean, last week in the NFL, I had, maybe 8, 9 plays, something like that. This week I'll have 4. And to be honest with you, none of them are strong. I mean, they're all kind of,
Fair. It be like that sometimes, and then next week might be the greatest card you've ever seen.
Yeah, no, I mean that's how this works. I mean,
Yep, I tell people all the time.
And then Sean will probably say like, no, this is his favorite card of the season. I mean, that's how it works too.
Yep. Sean, what's your outlook for the week looking like? Like, what you selling this week over at Pick Dawgz?
Yeah, like I was telling you, Jay, it hasn't been my best NFL season. I've been quite honestly, college football's been far better than NFL for me overall this year, but I am coming off a 3-1 Sunday and Monday NFL slate, and I do feel pretty good about this week. So, I'll settle in my usual probably 3 to 5 plays on Sunday, and I have a play already posted for tomorrow night's game. So, yeah, it'll be hopefully another good week here to keep it building on. Late in the season, it does, sometimes get a little tricky. There's a few games on this board I can tell you right now. There's just, it's very difficult to even craft an opinion on. You just have to kind of stay away from those ones. But yeah, sift through the show, and I'm sure you can come up with some of my plays for the week. So we'll look ahead to Sunday.
There you go. There you go. Scoop up those guys' plays over at Pick Dawgz Premium. The ones at Pick Dawgz Premium are the ones they like the most, the ones they like the best. For me, I always say it's the ones that personally I have the most money on, and that's the truth. For me, I'm going to have maybe right now I'm eyeing a couple. Yeah, I know I don't really hone in until like Saturday night, Sunday on my official NFL plays, kind of let the lines marinate a little bit more. I probably need to do a little bit better job of that sometimes. We'll see. But I probably have like 3 or 4 or 5. 4 or 5 is probably what I'm looking at right now for this NFL week. So be on the lookout for that. Let's keep it rolling. Last week was my worst week of the season. So it's not great. I had an amazing Thursday, and then Sunday wasn't great. So got to get better. We'll do better. Scoop it up. Monster week probably ahead and to close out the season. That's kind of how it's been. Last year was kind of the same way. I was choppy, and then heading into the playoffs, at the end of the season is kind of where I caught fire. So we'll see if we can do that again this season. Hop on something long term, man, and let's do what we do. Sean, we appreciate you joining us, my man. Of course, not under the best circumstances, but we really appreciate you joining us, man. It was a great show today. Al, as always, my man, I thank you for joining me today. Any final words from you two gentlemen before we get out of here?
No,
Well,
that's
just
just
thanks for having me on. It's like I said, not the circumstances I'd like to be stepping into here, but we'll soldier forward and yeah, you guys have been all doing a great job with the shows here the last few days. I've been tuning into a few of those, and yeah, we'll keep it rolling here into December.
Yes, sir. Let's do it, Sean. Let's do it. Appreciate you joining me,
yeah.
man. Al?
Yeah, I just want to say I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad Sean is with us. Great handicapper, and
Yes.
yeah, so we'll have a lot of good information going forward as well.
Yep. We're keeping it rolling, fellas. We're keeping it rolling. Those were Mitch's wishes. Trust me, he told me plenty of times. So that's what I'm doing, man. We're just keeping it pushing, keeping it rolling. Appreciate each and every one of y'all. See y'all next week. Let's do what we do. Just kick the crap out of the books, man. We're out of here. Peace.